anytime you're hindering digestion in any capacity, and with proton pump inhibitors and things that are lowering stomach acid, those are clearly going to affect digestion, which has a lot of downstream effects in the small intestines and just creates a lot of issues. And the hard thing about PPIs, which I think is like so awful, is there's no end in sight with them. Like, they're so hard to get off of. So, and I was on PPIs at one point. I had like gastritis when I was 19. And I specifically remember struggling to get off of them. And I was young. It's not like I was old. But what basically happens, like what people don't realize when they go on these PPIs, is that their whole stomach shifts in major ways. Like, the cells of your stomach basically increase in size to try to overcome the suppression of the stomach acid to help you digest. And then when you go off of them, you have these huge cells that then are pumping out a ton of acid.
Yeah, they're like acid-producing powerhouses.
Exactly. So the floodgates are open with this acid, then you're like, well, shoot, like, I'm super uncomfortable, and now I'm feeling refluxy. I need this medication. So the hardest, to quote Ursula from The Little Mermaid, the poor unfortunate souls that are on these PPIs, honestly, because they're just such a hard thing to get off of. And but I agree to your point. If you ever want to optimize not only digestion, but even nutrition, like PPIs lower a ton of different nutrients.
They're the worst.
They deplete so many nutrients. The stomach acid is super important to prevent pathogens as well. So, I mean, they're preventing pathogens. You need stomach acid to digest your food. I hate that that's like the first line of defense whenever you have any stomach issue by the conventional sphere is, try this PPI and see if it works.
They really get prescribed so willy-nilly, and it drives me absolutely bonkers, because they are prescribed in a way as though there's no repercussions or no ill side effects. And it's the opposite. So many people get side effects. Meanwhile, freaking lactulose is a prescription in the United States, which drives me absolutely crazy. So that's like a whole other podcast episode in itself. But lactulose is so safe and well tolerated and effective for so much stuff that I would use it for. But it's a freaking prescription. But we just give out Nexium and omeprazole and Protonix just like freaking candy at Halloween.
Yeah.
But, rant over. So, for example, and this is not an ultra up-to-date book. I probably need to get another one that's more inclusive. But as an example, the side effect Bible, or I have another one, the nutritional cost of drugs, right out here, nutrients that are robbed from omeprazole, which is a PPI. Beta-carotene, folate, thiamine, B12, iron, sodium, zinc. I happen to know also, iron, protein, magnesium. I'm surprised those didn't make the mix. Like, all of those you have a harder time with. So the hats are off when you're on a PPI. Not only are you going to have to deal with the fact that you're not digesting and absorbing your nutrients and your freaking food, the pH shift that happens local in the stomach and also in the intestines further downstream affects digestion, and it affects the microbial communities there. You have bacteria like H. pylori that can be normal inhabitants of the stomach for, I think it's 70% of the population. But when that stomach acid is not there and the pH shifts and it's more alkaline, that's when H. pylori can get more rambunctious, and it can cause you more problems, and it can overgrow, and candida potentially in the stomach, which I was surprised a couple years ago to learn that's a thing. You're mucking with the microbiome local to the stomach as well as downstream, and that it's really no wonder why so many people get SIBO from these drugs.